Morning. Now, as my application for Love Island was turned down yet again because they didn't want me to win, I thought I'd get on with the Series 1. Now, I had a few little technical problems because I bought myself a pretty high-end microphone system so I could record sound whilst I'm working on cars and things like this that sometimes this camera can't pick up. I thought, oh, what a great idea that was. Except I didn't set it up properly. I just opened the box and plugged it in and away it went. And it was all to do with setting up the gain of the microphone to match the camera. Oh, what a mess about that was. Anyway, I think I've got it sorted out, but I did shoot with two cameras, but like I said, the sound wasn't too good. So the principle was the same, so we're going to try and view everything I filmed on this camera. You'll get the idea. There was a few pitfalls and a few things. I found out that I actually needed more parts as usual. So what we're going to try and do is concentrate on this engine and then, like I say, go through it, find out what parts we actually need, and then buy the parts, and again we're stuck for parts. So there you go. Anyway, stick around, that's what's to come. You might enjoy it, you might not, I don't know, we'll see. We're going to have a look at the gaskets that James sent, because I've been waiting for this for a long time. It took a long time to get here, but if you remember what I said before Christmas, that it was going to be £97 for shipping these gaskets, and this was it. This is all it was. Now, I have to say that when I ordered the parts, I got it absolutely minimal, so it would be flat as possible to come through the post. James sent it to me for 20 odd quid, so it wasn't too bad. It was just a little shade over £20, I think. So that wasn't too bad, because in here, this is the only gasket I bought, and this is for the timing cover. Because it had the car's got a little bit of a, maybe what we'd call a clattery timing chain, I'm not sure. Won't know until I get it off. It might be alright, might be that's how it is, but we don't know. But let's have a look down here at the bits that we got. Now this is the daddy of them all. This is the crankshaft seal. A very primitive affair, I must admit. Comprises of two pieces moulded into a piece of aluminium, or two pieces of aluminium, come to that. Now I'm going to use a new tube of RTV sealer on this. There has been mention in the comments that some RTV is not going off. I have had that happen before with old tubes. You know, the Loctite stuff that we use quite often? Let me go and find one for you. This is the stuff here. Now, it can go either way. If it's old stock, sometimes it doesn't dry properly. You can always tell if it's new stock, because as soon as you open it, the tube goes hard. Well, it'll go harder to about here, and then it's done. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep that new tube, and we're going to do a little bit of an experiment with it first, make sure it's going to go off. There's no, on the Land Rover ones, on the genuine Land Rover ones, it has a use by date on it, but these don't seem to have that. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to put some sealer on this face and on the back, and then I'm thinking about, if I can get it in, is to put a hose clamp around that whilst I put the bolts in. I think that might be the easiest way. But I couldn't make that, neither could JP put a machine out a ring to put a regular oil seal in, because we can't go over the flange for the crankshaft. A bit of a problem. The other things I bought was these gaskets here from, these are the Britpark gaskets. I'll turn it that way, you can see better. There's 3 in a packet because it's for a 6-cylinder as well. I couldn't make these because these are reinforced with like a metal between the gasket. This is for the exhaust, so I couldn't make those. I also bought the intake gaskets here because they're a little bit tricky to make. I could make them if I wanted to. And there should be also in here. I bought a couple of exhaust gaskets because these are kind of renowned for blowing out. especially on these thin bits on these corners. So I bought 2 just in case. Now, what am I going to do for the rest of the gaskets, Mike? Why didn't you buy the cork gasket for the rocker box and the side cover? Well, quite frankly, they were not very expensive, but they pushed the parcel size up too high. Same with the sump gasket. However, for the sump, I'm just going to use that. If I have to take the sump off, you see, you don't know yet. But if I take the sump off, I'm just going to use this. So, Mike, are you going to use this on the rocker cover? No. I've got a cunning plan for that, because I spied out of my little eye a roll of cork, the same thickness, in an arty-farty shop, which was only like $10 for a roll. I couldn't believe it. I wish I'd picked one up. I'm going to go for one this afternoon. But anyway, that's what we've got, so everything is going to be good. I don't know why my other camera's switched off, so the sound might be just on this one now. Oh God. If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. I think the battery's gone flat again. Anyway, let's turn the camera around and see what we're up to. We might as well use this camera. There we go. That's the old favourite there. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to take the bonnet off. I'm also going to take the doors off, just lift them off out of the way. And then we'll go around bit by bit what we're going to do. But first of all, I'm going to take the grill off, drain the coolant out and drop the radiator out. Now fortunately we had the radiator out last year when we were doing a leak, so that'll come out pretty good because I put all brand new nuts and bolts in. Pretty good, eh? And then I'm going to try and collar Jim to see if he can come and give me a hand to do this, not this engine in particular, but to get the floor out, because the floors in these Series 1s is one complete metal floor plate, an aluminium floor plate, which is tricky to get out. Not impossible, but tricky. It's easier with 2 because it flops around like a pair of gull wings. So I'll ask him to do that. And also, I made a childish schoolboy type error of putting my engine lift in the container over there. So what, Mike, why don't you just go and get it? My snowplow man's piled a great load of snow outside the door. So we're going to have to come through the side door and bring it down here. No big deal, we'll soon sort that out. So yeah, let's get on with that. So just before I take the radiator out, I've been just taking a few other bits and pieces out. Naturally, take the battery off first, get it out of the way. Air cleaner off. I've taken the top hose off. I'm going to take the bottom hose off in a minute. But this Land Rover engine's got a drain tap on the block, and I've opened it and I pushed a little drill through it, and as you can see it's all rusted up, so it hasn't been open for quite a while. What else have I got to show you that I was messing about with? Let's have a quick zoom down here, because we've got to undo the linkages from the carburettor to the block, and I don't know if you can see here, but it's got 2 little lugs on the side. I'll try and do a zoom in later, but it's got 2 little lugs on, and by moving them back the ball just drops off. There's no need for pliers or anything like that. I've disconnected the dynamo whilst I was there, and I'll pull the wire back now. Get that out. We might as well do as much work on this side as we can. We've got to disconnect the throttle cable, the choke cable. But first of all, let's get another drill, see if we can get some coolant out. I can't get a drill, I haven't got a drill longer than this, of this diameter. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a spanner and disconnect the tap itself. Otherwise we're going to have water everywhere. Of course I haven't got one right size. Let's get back to that one. Yeah, I think what we'll do when we get this outside, we'll sandblast it off. Or should we power wash the block out first before we sandblast it? Tricky, because it's -10 outside, so it's going to be kind of cold. Yeah. Maybe you can see there it's it's muddied up. That is, I don't want to do it with a muddy cylinder. It's muddy. That's very muddy. But it is dribbling. So I think what we'll do is we'll just, I wonder if I get a piece of wire. I was going to say play safe. I'll get a piece of wire. Well, a little bit of copper wire got it dribbling a bit better. But I think we're going to have to sort of back flush this. Put the steam cleaner through the hole and get that mud out. Should I replace the core plugs? I'm not sure. You know, I've got a sneaking feeling I replaced the core plugs on this when I first got it. Because these look really good. Yeah, I think I am. So it must be just mud settling down. Oh, I don't think we need to worry about that too much. Well, let's carry on. We'll take the fuel pipe off. Oh, that didn't take much getting off because it broke off. Good to know that. That's plenty of hose on there. I think I broke it. I think I must have broke it when I was taking the... I had problems with the jet. Right, we'll take the choke cable off. Next we'll undo the wire from the temperature sender at the back. We'll also disconnect the wire that goes to the coil, which is here. You need a little pair of pliers for that. We've got the starter and the solenoid and the oil pressure to disconnect. I'll have to get a flashlight to see what's holding that one. The exhaust pipe can come off. I put a little bit of penetrating oil on the exhaust pipe yesterday. Let's see if they come off. What size are they? UNC, I think. UNF. One little tip I could give you about taking the exhaust bolts off is just work them backwards and forwards. So this one's particularly tight. Don't, see when they go like that? Tighten it back up. Get some of your penetrating oil. Because the last thing we want to do is drill and tap these bolts out. So I'm going to just gently go forward and back. And when we're going forwards and backwards, we're working that penetrating oil into the thread. Ooh, that smells nice. When it starts to shout like that, back it off, tighten it in again, and tighten it down, unscrew it. And you can hear now that it stopped shouting, so the oil's got into it and I can feel it's a lot freer. And that's coming out without snapping. That's what you want, isn't it, boys and girls? One bolt out, not snapped. That's the gasket there. I don't expect it's in fancy condition. I was hoping that bloody exhaust would go back a bit further actually. Might have to disconnect it from under the car. Yeah, the gasket isn't looking too pretty. I'm glad I got another one. Yeah, it was a pretty good call to get a gasket. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to crawl underneath and take that downpipe off and move it right back. Next thing, like I said, distributor. We've got the HT lead off. Starter motor wire has to come off. No, it was a bit shagged on that. What else? What else? Oil pipe, that. You know, there's not much more on it to come out actually, apart from the radiator. I'm going to let the block drain out a little bit more. As you can hear, it's taking an awful long time. I think a good flushing out will do it. A good flushing out will do it. Yeah, people don't use antifreeze then. Cool. See, I got this car 17 years ago and it was in a bit of a state. Well, say it was a bit of a state. The water pump had gone. And now I look at the frost plugs, the core plugs, it looks like I'd replaced those as well at the same time. Yeah. Well, let's get on and get this hose pipe on. And then I'll go and get a pair of pliers and get that off and get this off. It should be pretty good. Right, I just got carried away with things and started to pull bits and pieces off. The engine mountings are notoriously bad. I don't know how they got away with putting a bolt and two supports either side of it so you could go like this and then turn your spanner in this way. Really bad idea, but we're going to put new mountings on anyway, so that's not too bad. So all the things around the engine are disconnected, and I've just noticed whilst I was playing around with it, there's no lifting point. There's nothing to lift it off. So I'm thinking about putting a strap round the thermostat housing through the exhaust, round through the back of the manifold and try and get a centre lift and pull it. I always thought these had lifting eyes on them, but seems as if this model is lightweight. So let's go and have a look at what the next job is. So as I mentioned before, the floor is in one piece going across here. It's just held on with, you know, like Acme bolts. That's not too bad. But I don't know how I'm going to get it over the gear stick. I'm not sure. I have to take everything out, including the bulkhead panel, because I need to get to the bolts for the bell housing. That's the problem. Anyway, we'll struggle on and we'll see how we come on. Well, I don't know. It damn floor came out straight away. It came out vertical. Oh, I don't know what I was talking about. Anyway, you can see there that it hasn't leaked any more oil out of that top cap, so that's good. We don't have to undo the clutch shaft. As you can see, the clutch is actually directly linked to the pedal. There's no hydraulics on these, no cable. So all I've got to do now is get the bolts out, and then we should be able to get this engine out. It didn't look too bad, does it? No, it doesn't look too bad at all. But like I say, you can't get to the bell housing bolts without taking the floor out. Oh, pretty good. Impressed. Right. Let's get these out and then we might have a bite of lunch.